Labour have come out and said they're going to stop using hotels by 2029. Now, initially I thought, well, in that when there's a general election, but it actually goes a little bit darker than that. Now, what I personally think is going to happen, and they've already said that they've started doing it, and this came up on Newsnight the other night, is they're going to start buying hotels with taxpayers' money, and they're going to start running the hotels themselves. So they're technically not using hotels in a traditional sense because they are the owners and operators. They are the customers of the hotels. Now, whether that's going to work out cheaper or not, I don't know, but the same setup and scenario of large buildings of a hotel type structure housing migrants with 3 meals a day and pocket money is still going to remain the same. And you hear about the social housing contracts that have been offered to the private rental sector, and HMOs are popping up, and they are given 30% above market value for 5 to 10 years. So obviously landlords are jumping at them contracts in the current climate. And there's been a few stories of people basically getting evicted to make way for migrants to be housed in HMOs such as that. And I was watching a thing before, and basically it was a guy who owned a castle, and the government had approached him to use his hotel. And basically what they said was they'll take all of the rooms for 3 to 5 years. We had to sack all of his staff, and the government would put their own staff in there. And he actually turned it down, so hats off to him. He said it would absolutely decimate the local economy, and it was built on quite a tourist walkers, ramblers kind of villagey town, and the coffee shops and the pastry shops and things like that, and the local pubs and restaurants, there wouldn't be left. Because he said you don't know whether them people are actually going to go into the local economy and spend money in there. So there's lots of things to think about, and the government seem to be coming out with what looks like a change in policy, but actually isn't a change in policy. And I'm not saying that I have the answers to all the problems here, but I think the government need to be a bit more clear in what they're doing, and not just like, well, we'll say this and everyone will interpret that it's that, but actually it's really this, which seems to be a bit of a theme of this government. And they don't really like answering questions much, do they, when they're put on the spot. When Keir Starmer was at that factory a few weeks back, and every question was basically about Nigel Farage and reform, I don't think he liked it. But the U-turn on the winter fuel payment and the change of not using hotels and various other things, and you think, starting to run a little bit scared, Labour, and they're starting to realise that the policies aren't really hitting home with the British public. So we might see a few more changes in the future. But the other thing you need to think of is, and this is where governments can be sneaky, is they are going to probably try and get the public a little bit more on side because there's tax hikes inbound. So if there's tax hikes inbound, they're going to try and get everybody on board, the public on board, and try and, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're investing in the healthcare, and we're doing this, but put your taxes up.